Choose a key with me, and do it before your mind starts explaining what it means. Your choice reveals a pattern you repeat without noticing, a quiet script that keeps playing in the background of your life. In Jung psychology, symbols are the language of the unconscious, and a simple image like a key can point to needs, wounds, and doors you are ready to open. This little Jungian test is not magic or fate. It is a mirror that shows how you move toward change, comfort, risk, and desire. Behind the simple act of picking a key, there is a whole inner world of hopes you chase, fears you avoid, and roles you learn to play to stay safe. Maybe you keep walking through doors that demand too much and leave you drained, or maybe you keep pausing in front of doors that could nourish you, because some old part of you whispers that you do not deserve what is on the other side. Today I want to guide you to that hidden pattern and show you that it is not here to shame you, but to call you home with gentle love. Now pause the noise in your mind and play a small game with me. Look at the 5 keys on screen and notice which one your body chooses before your mind explains why. Do not overthink. Choose one key from 1 to 5 and lock it in like a secret between us. First sensation is greater than logic here. Trust the pull more than the story you tell yourself about it. Let your hand choose faster than your doubt, and promise yourself you will stay with the first answer even if you want to change it. That first key is the one your unconscious picked for this Jungian test today. Keep your number safe in your mind. We will use it soon. In a moment, I will start reading what each key says about the way you love, protect, and limit yourself. But I do not want this to be just another video you forget after 5 minutes. I want it to be a turning point, a small key you actually use. So stay with me until the end, because after you hear your key and the others, I will connect your choice to one clear, gentle step you can take in your real life. That step will be simple enough to do today, but deep enough to start shifting the pattern your unconscious just showed you through this Jung test. By the time we reach the last seconds of this video, you will not only understand why your intuition picked that key, you will also see one honest place in your life where you can begin to unlock a new way of being. Stay until the end, breathe with me, and let this be a small pause where your heart listens and your mind follows. If you chose 1, this often shows up when you feel a quiet pull towards something bigger, but still keep yourself on mute. Stay with me here. This golden key in your hand is not random. It shines. It looks royal, almost like it belongs to a door marked private or not for you. Symbolically, a bright key speaks of potential expansion, visibility, a life that takes more space. In Jung-style language, this is the call of the inner royal, the part of you that knows it was born to create, lead, or shine, even if the outside story has not caught up yet. The light around the key is your life force saying, I am here, notice me. The shadow side is that you may have learned to dim that light so other people feel comfortable, and now you struggle between wanting more and being afraid of what more will ask from you. You may tell yourself that your dreams are extra or dramatic, but inside you feel restless when you stay in a life that is too small. Notice this tension because it is the exact place where your key wants to turn. Think about a simple day-to-day scene. You are in a meeting or with friends, and someone asks for ideas. In your mind, you see the vision so clearly. You know how the project could grow, how the event could be better, how a new path could work. For a second, you feel the golden key heating up in your chest. Then the old script wakes up. You think, maybe I am being silly, maybe I am too intense, maybe this is not my place. You wait to see what others say, and when someone shares a smaller version of your idea, you nod, smile, and let it go. Later that night, you replay it and feel both proud that you saw it and sad that you stayed quiet again. This is the pattern your key is pointing at, a big inner world squeezed into a narrow hallway. You might do the same in love, holding back your depth, or in creativity, saving your best ideas for a future moment that never quite arrives. Stay with this image of you holding the key but stopping in front of the door. Every time you do that, your heart learns it is safer to hide, and your life becomes a little more grey than it needs to be. The gift in this choice is huge. Your psyche is not calling you arrogant, it is calling you awake. The golden key means you carry warmth, vision, leadership, and a natural ability to inspire others when you let yourself be seen. The shadow is only the fear that if you show your true size, people will leave, judge, or compete. But look at the symbol again. The key does not break the door. It simply opens it. You do not need to burn your old life down to answer this call. You just need to turn the handle one click at a time. So notice where you are already trusted, already loved, already prepared, even if your mind says you are not enough yet. That is where this archetype wants to step forward. Today, choose one small place where you usually stay quiet and let yourself go one step louder. Share one idea in a meeting, post one piece of your art, tell one person you care about something you actually want, instead of saying, "I do not mind." Make it tiny, but visible. When the fear rises, remember this is not about proving your worth. It is about teaching your nervous system that you are allowed to exist in full color. Turn the key just a little and watch how the room does not fall apart. That experience becomes new proof for your unconscious. Each time you repeat it, the golden key shines brighter, and the life that once felt too big for you slowly starts to feel like your true size. If you chose to, this tends to appear when your feelings are loud but your mouth stays quiet, and you live in a constant tug of war between what you want and what you are scared might happen if you actually go for it. Look at this key in your mind again. A blue electric glow, almost like lightning trapped in metal, sharp at the top like the point of a heart or a spade. It looks like it could open a secret room or a storm cloud. In Jung-style language, this is the lover archetype mixed with the rebel, the part of you that craves intensity, truth, and real connection, while another part stands by the door with crossed arms saying, "Be careful." The light in the center is desire, the dark space around is fear. You feel pulled toward experiences that wake you up: love, creativity, risk, honest conversations, yet your shadow whispers that if you show too much want, you will be rejected, judged, or blamed. So you hover at the edge of the moment, half in and half out, promising yourself you will be braver next time. Stay with me, because this key is not calling you dramatic, it is calling you alive. Picture a night when you are staring at your phone, thinking about someone you want to talk to. Maybe it is a crush, a friend who hurt you, or a person who could open a new door in work or study. You type a message, your heart races. The blue light of the screen feels just like the glow of this key. For a second you feel honest and clear. Then the storm begins in your head. You think, this sounds needy, this sounds weird. What if they think I want too much? What if they ignore me? You erase the message, rewrite, erase again. Minutes pass. You end up sending something safe or nothing at all and tell yourself it was no big deal. But your chest feels heavy, like you walked away from a door you actually wanted to open. This same scene plays out in other areas, saying yes when you want no, laughing something off when it secretly matters, dimming your passion so nobody can accuse you of being intense. Notice this pattern: the lightning hits, but the key never turns. You protect yourself from possible pain, but you also protect yourself from the exact experiences that would make you feel deeply alive. The gift inside this choice is powerful. People like you often have rich inner worlds, strong intuition, and a deep ability to love and create. You are not indifferent. You care a lot, maybe more than you let on. That is your light. The shadow is just the belief that your wanting is dangerous, that if you show your hunger for connection or change, people will pull away or use it against you. So you keep a distance, try to look fine with whatever, become the easygoing one, the one who says, "I do not mind, you decide." Inside, though, there is a blue spark that refuses to die. It shows up as sudden crushes, bursts of ideas, songs you replay because they express what you will not say out loud. Stay with that image for a moment. The key is already charged. It only needs a steady hand. You do not have to throw yourself into chaos. You just have to stop betraying yourself in the small crossroads where desire and fear meet. Every time you choose tiny honesty over fake calm, you integrate a piece of your shadow and become less split, more whole. Today, give that blue key one clear test in the real world. Take 10 to 20 minutes to sit with your phone or a piece of paper and choose one situation where you have been vague or silent about what you really feel, a message you never sent, a boundary you blurred, a dream you hide. Write one honest paragraph you could share with the person involved or with yourself if it is about a goal. Then either send a gentle, real version of that message, or read it out loud to your own reflection and keep it as a promise. Make it specific enough that you can tell if you did it or not, but small enough that it does not flood you. This act is you saying to your unconscious, I hear the storm and I am still willing to move. Each time you repeat a step like this, the fear learns it can survive honesty, the desire learns it is allowed to exist, and the blue key of your heart starts opening doors that were never truly locked, only waiting for your yes. If you chose 3, it often means you are the one who keeps the peace, even when your own heart is a little tired of being so understanding. You bend so others do not break. You adjust so no one gets upset, and on the surface it looks like you are easygoing, but inside there is a quiet ache for someone to finally ask what you actually want. This green key glows like a small heart in the dark, gentle, steady, almost shy, and it fits the archetype of the quiet healer or the good friend persona, the version of you that learned long ago that harmony keeps you safe. In a Jung-style sense, your unconscious uses this symbol to show a pattern of soft self-erasure. You stay in the background, so love does not leave. The light in the center is your real self, the part that has opinions, desires, and edges. The green haze around it is all the compromises you make so you stay likable. Imagine a normal week at work or in class. A plan is made for a project, a trip, or a deadline. You see a better way it could be done, something that would protect your time or your energy. But you hear the usual inner voice saying, "It is fine, I can adjust." You smile. You say whatever works for you, and you solve the problems quietly, later, staying late, or working extra on your own. On the outside, you are the reliable one, the person who adapts and never makes a scene. On the inside, you feel a mix of pride and resentment because you know you are carrying more than you show. Here is the twist: your kindness is real, but the avoidance of clear choices and honest no makes you invisible even to yourself. Over time, the good friend persona can start to feel like a costume that is glued to your skin. You might notice the same theme in relationships. You follow their taste, their schedule, their mood, until one day you wake up and realize you do not know what you would choose if nobody else had to be pleased. This key comes to remind you that your sensitivity is not the problem. The problem is that you use it only to read others, and almost never to read your own needs. In Jung terms, the shadow here is the assertive self, the one who risks conflict by saying, "I want this," or "I do not want that." You may secretly admire people who are clear and direct, while judging yourself for being indecisive, yet watch what happens next when you start to see indecision not as a true trait, but as a learned defense. If you never choose, then nobody can blame you if things go wrong. If you always go along, then no one can accuse you of being selfish. This kept you safe once, but now it keeps your life small. Your green key wants to grow into a doorway for genuine exchange, where you are not only the listener but also the one who is listened to. Today, take 10 to 20 minutes to make one specific decision that you have been stretching out. It can be about how you spend an evening, whom you meet this week, or whether you say yes or no to a small invitation. Write down 2 options and ask yourself without thinking, which one actually gives me more energy? Circle that answer, commit to it, and tell the person involved in clear words, even if your voice shakes a little. Do not explain yourself to death, simply stand by the choice. This small act teaches your unconscious that you can choose and still be loved, that you can take up a little more space at the table without losing your place. With every tiny decision like this, the green light in your key moves closer to the surface, and the world starts to meet not just your persona, but the real you who has always been waiting behind it. If you chose 4, it often means a part of you is holding the world tightly with both hands, afraid that if you loosen your grip even a little, something important will slip away. This purple key looks romantic and soft, with a heart at the top, but it is also sharp and precise, like a tool built for serious locks. That is your energy. You love deeply, you care fiercely, and at the same time you are always scanning for what could go wrong. In Jungian language, this is the strategist lover, the archetype that protects love by controlling the scene. On the surface you seem generous and organized, but underneath there is a shadow fear that if you do not manage every detail, you will be abandoned, hurt, or blindsided. You think you are just being careful, but your nervous system acts like a guard on night watch who never gets to sit down. Picture a simple evening plan with someone you care about. You suggest a time, a place, even what you might order. You check the route, you make sure you know how the night will go. When they reply late or sound uncertain, your chest tightens. You start adjusting everything to keep it from falling apart, sending extra messages, checking if they are sure, offering options, until the whole thing feels heavy. Part of you wants to say, forget it, I do not want to go anymore, because the risk of disappointment feels bigger than the joy of being there. You do not call this control, you call it being responsible or caring. And the strange thing is that people often rely on you for exactly that. Still, you can feel the cost. The mind that never stops planning the future does not know how to rest in the moment it already has. You play both roles at once, the one who wants to relax into connection and the one who keeps the armor polished just in case. Here is where the shadow work starts to get gentle. Under all that planning, there is an old story that says, if I do not manage everything, I will be hurt like before. Maybe you grew up in chaos or with adults who dropped the ball, so you became the early grown-up. Maybe someone you trusted once changed their mind without warning, so now you try to predict every plot twist. Your boundaries became a fortress, strong enough to keep out the bad, but also thick enough to dim the good. You say you want change, but then you double-check every new step, until it feels safer to stay in what you already know. And yes, you tighten the reins more than you admit, especially with the people you love most. The pattern is not that you are controlling by nature, it is that you are scared of losing what finally feels stable. This Jung test is not here to accuse you, it is here to show you the place where your heart and your fear are wrestling for the same key. Watch what happens next in your life when you experiment with trust in small doses. Trust does not mean letting anyone walk all over you. It means letting reality respond, instead of rehearsing every conversation in advance. Your purple key glows around the heart, because that is what you are actually trying to protect. The more you grip, the more relationships start to feel like projects, instead of living things. The more you soften, the more you notice who really meets you halfway and who was only there as long as you carried everything. This is how your shadow becomes guide. It shows you where you still act from old pain, so you can choose from present truth. Today, say one clear yes or one clear no that gives your soul a little more air. Choose a situation you keep micromanaging a plan with, a friend, a task at work, a family duty, and ask yourself honestly, do I truly want this, or am I just scared of what happens if I stop doing it? If the answer is no, tell the person involved with simple, kind words, and let the silence that follows be your teacher. If the answer is yes, own it without apology, and stop over-checking whether you are allowed. This will feel strange at first, like walking without armor, but that is exactly the point. Each time you practice this, your system learns that you can loosen your grip and still be safe, that you can protect your heart with boundaries instead of constant control, and the purple key of your life finally starts to open doors from love instead of fear. If you chose 5, it often means some wild, honest part of you is done repeating the same chapter and is secretly planning its escape. This flaming key looks like it has already been through fire, the metal dark, the center blazing like a small sun, and that is a mirror of your psyche right now. In Jung terms, this is the energy of individuation. In simple words, your deeper self wanting to live as itself, not as the role you learn to play. You carry courage and chaos in the same body. There is a pull toward change, new work, new city, new relationship, new way of treating your own body. And there is an equal tug from old habits that say, just stay here. It is safer to complain than to move. You feel that tension as boredom, that tastes like restlessness, as anger at yourself for not acting faster, as sudden bursts of motivation followed by long pauses. You are not broken, you are standing in a doorway with one foot in each world. Think of one decision you keep dragging along like a suitcase with a broken wheel. Maybe it is the message, you never send the course you keep checking, but do not enroll in the drawer full of clothes from a past version of you, the conversations about boundaries that you rehearse in the shower and then swallow at the table. On an ordinary day, you get a flash of clarity, you say, that is it, I am changing this, and for a few minutes you feel the heat of this key lighting up your chest. Then the mind begins its slow talk. What if I regret it? What if they are upset? What if I fail? What if I'm just being dramatic? You put the decision back on the shelf and call it timing or logic, but you go to sleep with the same weight. Here is the twist. The risk is not that you will make one wrong move. The bigger risk is that you will slowly abandon yourself by never making any real move at all. Your life becomes a hallway of half-opened doors, each one waiting for you to pick a side. This key does not say burn everything and run. It says let one part of your outside world finally match who you have been on the inside for a long time. In pop psychology words, you are ready to break a pattern not by hating the old you, but by thanking them for surviving and then taking the steering wheel back. Your shadow here is the side that creates little crises or sudden urges just to feel alive for a moment before you retreat. Instead of repeating that loop, you are being invited to use that fire as a steady flame. Watch what happens next when you choose one direction and let the bridge behind you gently fall. Fear will show up, of course, but so will relief, because now your energy is not split between 1,000 maybes. You will feel grief for the version of you that stayed small, yet beneath that grief there is a quiet voice that says finally, today choose one small irreversible step that honors the change you already feel coming, and do it before you talk yourself out of it. Send the message that moves a story forward, schedule the appointment that supports your next chapter, cancel the commitment that ties you to a life you have outgrown, or take a bag and remove from your space 5 objects that belong to an old identity and actually let them go. Make it visible in the outer world so your unconscious receives the signal. We are not just dreaming about transformation, we are in it. It may shake you a little, that is normal. You are walking out of an old pattern, not sleepwalking anymore. As you do this, imagine the fiery key turning in a lock you have visited many times, but never really opened. The click you hear is not drama, it is truth, and with each click, you step closer to a life that looks and feels like your own. No matter which key you chose, the golden, the blue, the green, the purple, or the flaming one, there is a single pattern humming underneath all of them. You are standing at the edge of a door, wondering if you are allowed to walk through. Each option is just a different costume for the same inner dance, with avoidance, repetition, and fear disguised as logic. Maybe you hide by staying small, maybe by staying agreeable, maybe by staying in control or stuck in almost change. But all of these are ways the psyche tries to keep you safe, while a deeper part of you asks for more life. In simple Jungian language, every key shows how your ego protects itself and how your shadow waits to be invited in so you can become more whole, not more perfect, just more true. The golden key of 1 speaks about expansion. You keep your light dimmed so nobody is threatened. The blue key of 2 talks about desire, pulled back by fear you want deeply, but hesitate at the last second. The green key of 3 shows a gentle heart that blends in, so harmony is never broken. The purple key of 4 reveals love wrapped in control, watching for danger, so it never has to feel surprise again. The fiery key of 5 burns for transformation, but sits in the doorway replaying the same scene over and over. If you look closely, every single story circles the same core question: will I risk being myself fully, even if that means letting an old pattern die? That is the heartbeat of individuation, your unique self growing out of roles and masks that once protected you, but now feel tight. Symbols show what words often hide, and this little Jung test is one more mirror your unconscious used to speak to you. It picked a color, a shape, a feeling, and wrapped in that image is the way you usually move around fear. Some of you rush forward, then pull back. Some of you read the room before you read your own heart. Some of you manage every detail, so nothing can surprise you, and some of you dream of change without letting it land in your calendar. None of these are failures. They are survival strategies that worked once and are asking to be updated. Integration means you do not throw them away. You thank the protector you once were, and then invite the part of you that wants more space, more honesty, more movement, to sit at the same table. So when this video ends, notice what your mind wants to do next. Does it want to file this away as interesting or almost accurate, and then jump to something else? Or can you let the key you chose stay in your awareness for a while, like a quiet background icon? The real test starts after this video, when life offers you the usual moment where you would shrink, agree, pretend control, or delay, and you remember for a second that you have another option. That instant of remembering is already a small break in the old spell. Today, choose one situation in your current life that carries the energy of the key you picked, and write it down in a sentence. Then write one small, honest move you are willing to take in that situation and commit to doing it within the next day. It might be a truth you finally say, a boundary you hold, a step toward a dream, or a decision you stop stretching out. Keep it simple but real. so that a week from now you can point to something in the outside world and say, "This changed, because I listened to myself." When you act like that, even in tiny ways, you stop treating your inner world as a movie and start treating it as a map. That is how endings become beginnings, how a quiet pattern turns into a conscious choice, and how a single symbolic key becomes the start of your next chapter. If you are still here with me, it means a part of you already chose to walk a little deeper into your own story, and I am honored to sit in that space with you for a moment longer. Let this not be just another thing you watched and forgot. Comment your number and leave your name so this does not stay as a secret in your head but becomes a small promise you place in the world. Sometimes the simple act of writing it down is the first key turning in the lock. If something opened or softened inside you even a little bit, take a breath and notice it. Give that feeling a home. Tap, like not just for me, but as a way of telling your own unconscious, yes, this mattered to me. And if you want to keep walking this path, together hit subscribe, so every time you see a new Jungian test, you remember that you are not doing this inner work alone. There is one more step I want you to take before you go watch the next test on your screen now, and let your intuition choose again. See what changes when you do not scroll past yourself, but actually stay and listen.